Hello and welcome to another section or playthrough of Asterix and Obelix. I am your host, Real Zero, and we are continuing where we last left off in the game. And I'm kind of recording this a lot after the fact, honestly, because I forgot to put on a microphone again and record the gameplay as it were, and so I'm kind of this video and last video and the next video will have me record of the gameplay. Specifically speaking, this game is close to the end, or is at least in this sense of this playthrough. I think I'm kind of at the either 65 or maybe even or like 50 to 60% of the game done, and then I kind of was just like, at first I wanted to, because I think I completed the last level and I was like, oh, can we go to the next place? And I don't think you can. I think there's a couple more quests that you have to do. Or at first I was just going like, okay, I just kind of want to get done with this, but then I'm going like, wait a minute, I did the quest in Thule or the Frozen Place or Asgard or whatever you want to call it, and then I didn't know what else to do, so I just figured, might as well do the quest. And I think one of the quests kind of goes away, unfortunately, because I think a lot of the quests you have to do the first time around, or at least one of the quests, because I think I failed it initially, and I was just saying, whatever, I would repeat it, but it was not there anymore, and I was kind of not disappointed, but kind of bummed that I think I was more interested in getting the achievement than the actual 100% completion, because again, like with this game, there's not significant focus or significant incentive to work on and get more completion of the game, or get 100% for the game. So but specifically speaking, we're still finishing Phoenica or Tyr or whatever it's called, or I think the people are Tyrians or whatever. And so we just completed that side quest, and other than that, and like I would say the side quests for each area are not so bad. Well, actually, I was gonna say the side quests for I think for Phoenica or Tyr Phoenica, whatever you want to call it. That's when I think they get more difficult and more tedious. Other than that, I would say at the very least they're not as tedious and demanding of the next area, where it's a giant giant labyrinth slash mausoleum or whatever. And I was really disappointed because well, when we get to that, I'll talk about that. But other than that, uh, at the very least, they're what you called, there isn't so much like, I think what I'm gonna try and get across is that this kind of area started doing it where there's a lot, they're starting to have more sections where there's technically platforming, where you dodge roll onto platforms instead of jump on them. So, and in this, it's not so bad because they give you more than enough like potions to like make jumps and stuff. In the next area or so, there's a lot of like technical platforming that gets annoying. It's not so much difficult as in, it's not difficulty as in like easy normal or hard. It's just difficult because it'd be much. I think I swear it'd be much more easier with just making a jump instead of having these dodge rolls. Um. Anyway, um. So also in the next area we get the what's it called, the um. So yeah, sorry. I didn't know what to record in the sense of audio wise. So I just I'm kind of feeling time because I don't know exactly what to say. I kind of remember each aspect of what I played, but again, I just don't remember like how fast I got to him. I know I could just easily put up a highlight reel of just the all the better parts or whatever. But again, I already started the series by talking over it per se, and I need to finish that way because it'd be kind of weird to just you know to stop near the end and not deal with it. So anyway, so I know it's probably just super awkward to hear, and I know it's probably not great, but I need to just put out the audio for for the um, the video in question for both this one and the next. At the very least, with the next video, it's the finale. The finale was not so bad, but the area before the finale, Rome. Um, gosh, what was I gonna say? Is a bit much. It has a lot of sections too. So yeah, that's like they put a lot of technical stuff that um, that I feel like another a better developer, and then not saying if you indeed love Asterix or a Obelix and you love microids or whatever, then there's no way to dig at them. But I just was saying if there was maybe a better developer who made the game, you could have more tighter platforming and they wouldn't be such an issue. Not to like a point like Crash Bandicoot or whatever, where the funny thing is I played Crash Bandicoot 4, or the new one. It's about time, and uh, I understand what the old ones they they're very technical as well, but that's kind of good technicality, whereas you know where it's kind of Western development to a T, where it's very polished, and to me it just seems a little bit off. But again, everything's ducks in a row, everything's fine, everything's perfect. You mostly will you will like fall off a cliff or something, and they'll mostly, if you fall off a cliff, that will mostly be due to human error or something, and not from a poorly polished aspect of a game, or poorly developed aspect of a game. So, kind of going on with an example from Crash Bandicoot is that um, there's again, same thing is that there are a lot of trials, there's a lot of jumping, and then there's a lot of like aspects that seem poor, and I kind of will kind of say it from there. Like sliding in the new Crash Bandicoot 4. Um, Again, it could be better, and you kind of that where I was saying is that it's very it's very perfect and very kind of I guess I don't know what the right word would be. Not perfect, but very close to being perfect. Whereas where is kind of like where a Crash Bandicoot kind of ends and where a Mario begins is where where and I think it's a weird kind of thing to say this, but almost, and also Sonic as well, as Mario and Sonic have momentum, is that you kind of feel good running around, and kind of when you come to a complete stop, that's kind of where the fun kind of acquiesces and stops being fun more per se. Like whenever you have a platforming section, whenever you slow down in Sonic and you have a platforming section in like at least a 2D game, again the 3D games do a better job about it. The 2D games, it gets very technical, it gets very unfun because you have to make very precise jumps, and if you don't make very precise jumps, it's usually death. And yeah, especially with and I will make fun of Sonic Mania as well because Sonic Mania um, Sonic Mania didn't is a very is a very well thought out game, but it still has the same I would say, or it still has the same like cardinal sins as the classic 2D Sonic games, is that it gets very technical and very unexciting and or very unappealing when there's tough platforming sections. And when you get to Mario, Mario doesn't per se have any of that. You kind of remain the same speed each time, but again, you don't feel like you're stopping. When you do come to a stop, you come to the point where you're not stopping. Like you don't come to a complete stop, where that does it with Crash, where you're jumping, but you're still jumping through by your own like merits or whatever. You're not having an extra like you don't have an extra like I guess speed boost would be the best thing to kind of go about it and say it like that. Yeah. When you get down to the fine details, Mario and Sonic kind of have this momentum where when you stop, you kind of stop a little bit later, like with Mario, and then with Sonic, again, kind of same thing, but when you go to Crash, you just stop you kind of just stop cold. You don't stop. You don't have a little bit extra or a little bit or a little bit less. You just kind of stop. So that kind of what I can say, or comparing at least Mario and Sonic and Crash Bandicoot to Asterix and Obelix, is that they all have jumping in their games, but also is that if even though this is primarily an action adventure beat 'em up game, and those are a dime a dozen. You could find a lot of generic games kind of based on that, like bread and butter principle, but with Asterix Obelix, you kind of remove the jump, and jumping is so integral to a platformer. Again, jumping is also integral to beat 'em up as well, but less so because you're still you're still fighting on the ground primarily the time, and jumping in a beat 'em up just consists of either jumping attacks or sometimes what's it called, like an elbow drop or some other technique in the air. But anyway, sorry. What I was trying to get at is that platforming in Asterix and Obelix is bad because A, you don't have the jump, and B, all platforming, it's just you make a dodge roll, and the dodge roll is just kind of flat. It doesn't feel exciting. It doesn't feel good in combat. It doesn't doesn't necessarily save you a lot of a big portion of the time. And also during this part, it's like I didn't know what else mini quest to do, so I just was looking around and trying to just get the laurels. I don't know why, because again I was not interested in getting 100%. I just was kind of just I don't know why. I just was kind of just playing the game and kind of just seeing where I could get to. But again, like the platforming, I think when you don't have a jump, you can't kind of go at your own pace. Like with that, if I was Asterix, I could make the dodge roll over there, but I'm still on the level. I'm still on the level field, basically. This is what I'm getting at, is that you're still on the level field, and then at least with jumping, you're at least a little bit higher, depending on your your character or the game, and that's what I feel like Asterix and Obelix really needs is a jump, or some other like platforming ability to make it so that you feel confident that you are not you are not you are not making risky jumps a large portion of the time, and I feel like that's almost every jump with Asterix and Obelix. Um, but also, I know it's like I harped on the beat 'em up quality too, and again, it's not a lot of beat 'em ups just kind of just mash X, and then throw in a Y every now and then, and that's kind of it, and it sells like hotcakes more or less, and that's a lot of games have just X and Y, and that's fine. Again, there's a lot of Dynasty Warriors. There's a lot of the Lego games that kind of just follow the same formula, but again, like they still have their own like aspects that make it entertaining. Like having a boss and juggling up him in the air, or pressing Y to get a bigger combo meter. I think in at least the later Lego games, and again, like that's what I'm saying. Like there needs to be something like that in the game for Asterix Obelix. It's very again basic, and again basic slash simple is not usually bad. Again, a lot of games coast on that, and again, it's not so bad in again the grand scheme of things. But again, like there's a lot of territory slash levels to go over, and it just kind of like you need incentive to keep on going, you know, and again, this is like 50% or 60% of the game done, and then like I was saying, the next area is it doesn't lend itself to be very fun because it's puzzle solving, and puzzle solving is um again it's okay. um we're going to the next area, which is Crete, Crete or whatever. I always kind of wonder if that's where we got the word, like cretin, or like, or not the word creatine or whatever the muscle powder is that roid heads use, um, or another a bodybuilding powder that was probably abused a lot. Anyway, but it's the island of Crete, and I kind of wonder if that's where we get the word cretin, where like it's that's an insult, and like in Monsters Inc. he says uh, I can't even. Randall says, the Mike Wazowski, I'm gonna get you, you cretin or whatever, and then he says, if you're gonna threaten me, instead of saying cretin, say cretin or whatever, or I don't remember, but I think that's the way it goes. Um, but I wonder if that's where we got the word from. I haven't investigated it. But also, I was gonna say, besides the puzzle solving aspect of this part coming up, which I didn't even realize, and I might bring it up again in the Rome section, because yeah, Rome's the final uh, place. Um, Specifically speaking, I didn't know you could freeze like water spouts that are coming out of the ground in Thule or whatever, the like the Norse place. And so I was like, oh, you could do you have I think you have to do that for a couple of the puzzles in Rome, and I was like, huh. And then So that might have been a puzzle early on. But this, I was going to say, this is not a puzzle, but this is like a stealth section. And honestly, I feel like it's very poor because, it'd be nice to have a, again, it's hard to, not compare it, but again, like, because, like, people all the time, it's like, they will say, regardless of what your, feelings towards Genshin Impact, they say, like, oh, it's a Breath of the Wild clone, so, they dismiss it immediately. So that's kind of where, like, a lot of people have a big comparison, and I mean, I've done it. Right, I just did it when I said, when talking about Asterix Obelix platforming with Crash, Bandicoot, and Mario and Sonic, and just saying that, like, it could be better. Um, but I'm not trying to dismiss Asterix Obelix. A lot of people do that, and I'm not. Again, I'm just saying that it could be better than than it is right now. Um, so again, I'm not trying to trash Asterix Obelix. I just wish the platforming was better, and some of the beat 'em up aspects were better, especially the stealth section. The stealth section, I would say, is probably, again, like, one of the worst things I ever um seen, because again, I wish there was like a Metal Gear, like, radar or something. And even in the other games of Metal Gear, specifically when there isn't a quote unquote Soliton radar, like in Metal Gear Solid 3, and even before you delve into Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, there's still an equivalent, like thing that tells you, or that pings enemies near you, so you have a good idea of what you're going about, instead of kind of going in blindly and just kind of guessing. So but again, with the stealth section, you just need some patience, and then kind of just again, like, I imagine, at least the other, I think this section would be in I know it's co-op. I think this section would be, at least the stealth section would be, like, or sorry, let me rephrase that. Since it was just completed really fast, and just what's it called? I mean, sorry, I should stop talking because there's a cutscene. Um, Sorry. Also, what I was gonna say is, I mean, I should also keep talking, because even though they're talking, I should, narrate things. Sorry, the stealth section isn't so bad. It's short. It's just frustrating that, again, it could have been easier, because they just assume you know what to do, and again, the vision cones would kind of be a nice thing. Um, so yeah. Sorry, I just again, there's a lot to talk about. Um, and I was complaining about the self section, and again, I was the stealth section was a little bit better, because it's annoying, and it shouldn't have to be. Um, but other than that, for the next coming part, this place was called, like, the Minotaur's Labyrinth, and I was super annoyed, because I was kind of bummed out that there was no Minotaur to be found. It's called the Minotaur's Labyrinth, but there's no boss fight or anything like that, and I think also in the whole game, except for the end of the game, there's no, like, there aren't any boss fights. There's several quests, or several side quests, and I'm bringing this up because, again, this is, I know I kind of said 50 or 60, but I almost would say 75% that we're kind of near the end of the game. Is that there's no there's no boss fights. It's just kind of just beat 'em ups in general. It's just you just beat a bunch of goons, Roman goons. There's the upgraded ones with the shield. They're the ones that boost the attack of uh, the Roman guys. Or I think they're called centurions. Um, Hold on, I'm gonna take a drink because I have been speaking for a while. And there hasn't been any uh, previous bosses to fight, and maybe this is a time issue or whatever. But maybe they were gonna put a Minotaur in here or whatever, but then they didn't. So yeah, it's awkward. Also, that camera zoom in was a bit awkward because I didn't know where to go. If it was go back out, or to go further in. Um, so yeah, there's not a lot of bosses, or if there's any bosses for that. I think the closest I get to a boss is that Marcus Gigantic Nosicus or whatever, Ginonicus or whatever. Um, uh, he will appear every now and then and summon troops, but that's kind of the closest where the bosses kind of do, or you know, are a thing where uh, where there's not bosses per se. That just another round of goons to beat. So yeah. So at least with this next part, it's the third aspect of the crystal menhir, or the stone. Um, what's it called? Uh, the stone catalyst or something like that. Anyway, there's three powers with it. One, the two we already seen before. The frost for the first area, or second or third or whatever area from Thule or Norse, or Norway, or whatever you want to call it. Then the second one from Phoenicia or Tyr or Egypt, effectively. And then that can and the blue frost one can freeze enemies. Um, I didn't know about that till a few videos in. Um, and then it can freeze water spouts too, that you need to get higher, or to higher areas. And then with the fire one, you can burn down uh, wooden or like thatching walls or whatever, or wheat, I guess. You can burn those down, and then Asterix can go forward under small little what's it called, wooden wooden barricades. I think that's what I was trying to get at. Um, Specifically speaking, for this next section, we unlock the purple stone, or uh, magnet stone or whatever. Effectively, you could honestly, this is their what's it called? This is their kind of play with gravity kind of type thing, and so it can move large stones. It can I think pull metal hinges and platforms and such. And yeah, that's kind of where it kind of starts and stops. It's really annoying for this because I was saying with this Minotaur Labyrinth or whatever. At least I think it was called the Minotaur Labyrinth when we started. This is a puzzle section I was talking about. Again, it's not so much challenging per se. It's just set up as annoying. So, you know, there's not there's not a great way to sugarcoat it. It would need, if it was made better, then you wouldn't have such unpolished aspects of the game. So yeah, again, that's another opinion, but again, I feel like if you worked on it a bit longer or worked on it a bit more, then you wouldn't have so many problems. Not just with the platforming, because again, this has a lot of platforming, and some aspects of puzzles, but again, there's a lot of platforming. So I just wish there was a jump or something to give you more leverage, as it were, when playing the game. So again, there's a lot of swapping back and forth. What's really annoying too is that although I think, again, like with the stealth section, it would have been a little bit it would have been a little bit better if they worked on it a little bit. Same thing with this, is that I kind of wish the magnet power / gravity was more defined, or more, it gave you more of like space to work with. Same thing where, like, I wish it kind of wasn't so, even though this is not super difficult, there are it's tons of things that you could make it more user friendly per se, like instead of exactly right there is that I hit the gravity or the magnet stone in front of me, but it also triggers the plate I'm on, so I get damaged, and then I would either fall off, or I want to be able, I would get stuck in the tile, or I want to be able to move, because right now I have to continue forward, and I took a lot of damage there. So that's kind of what I'm getting at, is that I wish it was polished a bit more, so we wouldn't be able to what's it called, we wouldn't be able to have such an issue to talk about. Again, a game is not going to be perfect, it's not going to be 100%, but at least you can work on all the alright, that's another thing that's super annoying with the game, is that I specifically put Asterix there so that he would be like a Lego game is with the Lego game is just, sorry, another thing for comparison, and again, and not to dismiss Asterix Obelix, so just need something for comparison. Hang on, I'm gonna take another drink. Is with the Lego game, you would put a a specific character, they can either hold the bridge, or catapult somebody up to the next level, or like a 2-story, 3-story building or something like that. And same thing in this game, I was trying to be proactive or preemptive and keep Asterix up there so that he could jump from there and we wouldn't have a problem. Well, sometimes the AI just, which is both good and bad, sometimes the AI just just moves of their own accord, and yeah, it's really frustrating, because I more or less have to do extra steps to continually gosh, what I was gonna say, to continually make progress with the game, to just, or not just to make progress, but also just just saying this could be better. Although I would say, like, the other 2 or other 3 Asterix Obelix games that have been on Xbox, Rumble and Las Vegas, and I think those are reboots of the PS2 games as well, correct? And although I'm not sure if, because I thought this game was new, this might be another reboot of the one of the classic PS2 games. Like I think I've seen at least a lot of thumbnails for Asterix and Obelix go to the Olympics or something like that, and that's technically the second or third game or whatever. And so again, again with the third game, what's it called? These might be the best polished controls of the series. I don't know. We did buy Asterix and Obelix, Rumble in Las Vegas, but again, it could be. I'm not too sure if I want to, I'm not trying to be rude. I don't know if I want to exactly play them because, again, like this was frustrating because, again, so many aspects of it could be better, and they aren't. So, yeah. So yeah, I'm like on the fence about doing a playthrough of Rumble in Las Vegas. I know technically if I wanted to, I should have played them in order, starting with Rumble in Las Vegas. So that could have been a bit better foresight on my part. So, but again, like it's not perfect per se, and yeah. I'm scrambling for things to say, and yeah, I don't know what else to say with this part because again it's a very dry, very not cerebral because the puzzles are very simple, but again I it took my dumb ass a couple of tries, couple of various waiting, and I tried to cut as much footage as possible. I know this is an hour, but again, like, and it could have been an extra 10 minutes because I removed a lot of, or not removed a lot of footage, removed a little bit of footage. So yeah, again, right there. So it's good and bad because Obelix just teleported immediately, and I didn't have to do anything, but at the same time, it, always could be worse because, we need, or again, I wish these sections were, better thought out, better, articulated. So, same thing, people can comment, same thing with how I'm recording right now, but again, like, I did not record this, a million years ago. I recorded this, not, maybe like a week or two ago. And now I'm just getting to the point where I'm recording my, voiceover dialogue. Because, again, I just feel like it would just be more weird having, having a Let's Play, then going to a long play, etc., etc. So, again, have a couple of long plays on the channel. A couple of people prefer long plays, and I understand that. Seeing the game for what it is and not hearing somebody else's obvious annoying commentary on it. But again, just trying to fill time, trying to fill recording length. And I know this is an hour, and I know specifically speaking, a lot of times, a lot of people, their attention span will not hold for more than, 45 seconds, 50 seconds. And I understand that. I know I need to be more entertaining to a T. And, I'm just, for the most intents and purposes, I just want to, upload videos and such. Not just, as a money-making venture, but just, just or money-making venture so that I have money to be able to publish books, and I kind of just mess with the system right there by having by trying to be Asterix and trying to have Obelix just be able to be able to just teleport across. Specifically speaking, it's like they've made it so that Obelix could jump across, and like I think in the beginning tutorial in the forest they even have you or want you to jump across as Obelix to the objective, but Obelix Obelix dash or dodge, it's very poor, so it kind of leads you to be incredulous about it. Asterix is faster, especially with the potion, so you have less problems going forward. So again, specifically speaking, there's so many aspects of the game that could be improved upon, but this is the final product and such. Hang on. And we are continuing with the recording of Asterix Obelix. Sorry about that. I just noticed that I needed to I needed to re-edit, and usually I'm much better about editing than I am about recording a voiceover or not a voiceover, I'm not voicing a character or anything like that, but just just recording this for the playthrough. There we go. I was just trying to think of the right word. What was I gonna say is, but no, I felt bad because legitimately I feel like I'm much better at editing, even though this is still an hour. Technically, I want to remove as many long pauses as I could. So yeah, what's it called? There was another long pause beforehand, and I wanted to remove that again. So yeah, so I went back and I just edited a little bit and etc. Here we are. Again, like I was saying, there are a lot of puzzle/platforming aspects to this, at least this section of the game, the Labyrinth. I just wish it were better. So, and again, same thing with log pauses, just, and like, with this section, it just seems like you need a lot of extensive platforming, but, that's not exactly, like, correct or right or something, because, or I mean, it needs a big rework, because, it was another one where apparently you can just, you can do, or you can have either Obelix or Asterix go the whole, like, section, but at the same time, it doesn't make sense overall for either of them to go forward, because, I don't know, it just, again, like kind of like same thing with a Lego game, it's just that, it doesn't, like, I just, it's like, seriously, it doesn't seem like it works right, because if they're consistently teleporting you, and same thing where the teleporting was beneficial, to a T, when I couldn't figure out what the next part of the puzzle was, it just seemed like you needed both of them in the same spot, and yeah, it doesn't seem to correlate with me. So I didn't realize you could just dash over there with Asterix, and that just everything else is fine. But at the same time, it seems like you need Obelix over here to have the retractable metal platforms come out, so you can safely make the jump. But like again, it doesn't seem like inherently like it doesn't make sense overall. So and with that, sorry, I know I just was talking about how I should have edited better, but I edited a lot of this. I edited a lot of I edited at least like maybe like 5 or 10 minutes out of that section. So because it or at least goes for a while. Kind of going back to what I said earlier. What was I gonna say? That this is another one where it's not a boss fight. It's Marcus Ginonicus or whatever. He was just saying like, oh, I'm gonna just send my troops at you, and this is exactly what it is. It's just kind of a giant burly brawl. And yeah, there's not there's not too much strategy. The gravity/magnet stone seems really overpowered in a sense too, because you take away the Roman shields, since they're wearing metal armor or metal hats or whatever. You can just like have them warp to you effectively. So then you could then spin with either Obelix or Asterix, and dispatch them easily. Other than that, again, there's no super strategy. Again, you can hit them with the uppercut besides spinning. You could hit them with that running move that Obelix does. Anyway, you could just basically do a lot of things with it, and yeah, or at least with the gravity portion. Again, it's like I feel like the one thing, the dog is very underutilized. Apparently he gets medals for you, but also you can send it to attack people, but I felt like they really wanted to have more abilities with Obelix, but yeah, it kind of just the dog is not very useful per se. So again, like I was kind of saying, this section kind of just goes on forever and ever, because here's another platforming/puzzle section, and you have to make sure that you don't get either swept away by those arms or wooden panels or something like that, or yeah, and every time you fall off, you don't get reset at where you fell off. You get reset at the start of the area, which is frustrating because that just gives you more time. And yeah, it's like this puzzle solving/platforming section near the end of the game, where the beginning and Thule and Tyr, there wasn't that much planning. I mean, Tyr had platforming in the sense of you went over some buildings or whatever, or for some of the side quests, but that was kind of about it. And even though for the what's it called? I panicked right there because I thought I had another long pause, and I thought I had to do additional editing, and I'm glad I don't. Okay, and I thought right here I could kind of jank the system by you know, doing the hard slam from the crystal Menhir or whatever. Anyway, okay, so this is the last section before we get to the out of the dungeon or whatever. But again, like, it just takes forever. Like, I'm being serious. Like, this section was so frustrating and unnecessarily long that you know, I feel like, you know, they probably were not, whoever saw it was like, you know, this is not enough content for the game. We need to add a lot of convoluted sections, and this is one. Rome has a lot of stuff too, so yeah, Rome is a really, you know, tiring section as well.
Des indications sur le sol seraient bien utiles pour retrouver la sortie.
Yeah,
Ce serait trop simple, Obelix.
So honestly, the puzzle platforming aspect for this just honestly comes from, you know, dodge the wooden panel spike things and call it a day, basically. So also, I'm clumsy. I'm bad at this type of platforming, but I honestly feel like the hitboxes for the spike walls are just kind of bad news or whatever. I didn't know right there if I got hit by the spike wall or if I got hit by an arrow. So, you know, yeah. But like in you know, in all seriousness, I wish I knew what I got hit by instead of kind of just like, you know, just a general idea what I got hit by, you know. Like I know I got hit by one of those two things, but there's not enough data to prove that. Again, like, I didn't, like, you know, when you get hit, there's not enough, like, of, you know, animation or state where, yeah, I blinked red light there, but then, like, you know, there wasn't, like, a big blink of red, I guess, and,
À toi, Asterix.
Yeah, and, you know, it's not, there isn't enough, and same thing with the arrows, is that you'll get hit by an arrow, but you won't necessarily, like, what's it called, it won't seem like you got hit by an arrow or whatever, so, so yeah, I wish the, you know, I know it's a lot of repeats, it's a lot of the same thing, I wish, and it's, you know, it's hard to, record for an hour, especially if you don't remember, like, you know, 90% of the content that you recorded, or at least, you know, 90, at least just this section that you don't remember what you recorded for, Asterix Obelix. I mean, again, I have a general idea what I recorded, you know, and yeah, same thing as that reset you at the beginning instead of resetting you on the path, so I wish I reset you on the path, because, you know, you lose a lot of time. And hang on for a second. Okay, we are back with another section, I'm back with more commentary on Asterix Obelix, or Asterix A Obelix. I think, you know, Asterix ET, I think that's, A is and in French, so Asterix and Obelix. I keep on thinking I'm saying like E, like Spanish, like you could say like Asterix A or E Obelix, and I think you know that's not right because that's Spanish. And again, if I guess you're watching a Spanish version of Asterix Obelix or whatever, but anyway, or that's not correct. It's not wrong. You could have a Spanish version if you wanted to. Anyway, so we're continuing with this section. Again, it gets a little frustrating because I wish it was better because you're going along the thin platforms, and even though your character is the same, shape or whatever of the what's it called, of the path. It's just I wish it was like you were a faster in general. I know Asterix is technically faster, but not by much. I'm glad it restarted you at that point because again, like I just mentioned, that it was frustrating that what's it called? Oh yeah, you have to be quick too, because then it just resets if you weren't fast enough. But also, what was at first I was like, I didn't know where to go, so like, oh, you have to kind of go through an alternate path or whatever, kind of, go that way. The going the completely left was just to get to an alternate, like, the Roman helmets, which are used for currency, or a laurel or something like that. And yeah, so yeah, going along the lower path or the higher path or whatever will get you going to the right in the right direction or whatever. So again, like I was saying, it's not terribly difficult. The game is not terribly difficult, and it's not terribly easy or whatever. It's just kind of in the middle where it's it's not too bad and it's not too good, but it's still overall it's not bad. But again, it's kind of forgotten in a kind of a like sea of mediocrity in a sense. So I wish the game was better, but it kind of is just kind of in the middle where, again, it's where a lot of people forget the game because it's not it doesn't stand out enough. I wish it stood out more because then there'd be more people to enjoy it, but it's just like that. So so you went through the whole dungeon, you completed that, or you completed the bridge, as it were. There's like one more last puzzle, whatever, just to like annoy people or to annoy you, or puzzle, as it were. I guess I don't know if it's really a puzzle technically. But yeah, too. So it'll immediately scoop you up, or not immediately scoop you up, but it just it will. So it's just kind of another like. I kind of feel like they thought out most of at least the spinning portion of the dungeon, but that one was just kind of like, oh, I don't know what else to do. And then here's another portion of the dungeon that's kind of just like, I swear they didn't know what to do type thing. So, because like at least with like making a bridge and such, like that seemed like the right right idea. And this is kind of like, I don't know, they ran out of time. They didn't show their work, so. But this one is just kind of just, it just takes a lot of, you know, patience, as it were, and just making sure that you know you get it right. And yeah, you just, you know, so yeah, you immediately fall off. So it's just kind of like, you know, what's the point? So again, like with that, like I kind of, you know, I just keep on panicking and I keep on not getting it. So that's kind of what it kind of boils down to, at least for this part. So it's kind of funny too, honestly. I mean, it just is, you know, this fat guy just knocked into the abyss with by a sharp pointy thing. So, you know, has all the comedy bits that you expect. Again, other than that, yeah, so it makes that. I don't know what else there is about the. Yeah, never mind. That's like the last portion. So like they thought about the rest of the dungeon, but then they're like,
Il va pleuvoir. Les oiseaux volent bas.
They just
Ce ne sont pas des oiseaux, mais des chauves-souris, Obélix.
Oh, and like, you would think with it being a labyrinth and such, you would think they'd have like a, you know, I know it's like a French game, so it's not as culturally relevant over there, but I feel like, you know, you would have like a stupid Indiana Jones thing of like running away from the boulder, you know, or something. And unfortunately, there, you know, there isn't anything like that. You know, there isn't like, oh, you know, the temples, you know, and like, yeah, there's like Minotaur like iconography there, or like, you know, Minotaur like statues and stuff. Unless, you know, unless it was a secret boss that I didn't know how to, you know, trigger or something, and no, yeah, by Obelix. But like, I mean, seriously, like, you would think that like, you would think there would be some like great guardian or whatever, you know, for the whole, for the dungeon or whatever. But there was no guardians to speak of. There was no special entity. There was just, you know, just a bunch of Romans, to fight. And yeah, this is what I was saying is, you know, it gets so tiring and kind of difficult to fill time because there's, you know, there's not too much to talk about. Specifically speaking, the good thing is it was kind of painful for me, and if you don't watch this far, thank you very much. This is just, you know, this is awkward as well. That I think, you know, that's all the time that we have for, you know, talking about the game. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you later. So, bye.